Fortnite just completely changed the competitive meta and the way Storm Surge works, and I think they've done a pretty good job. We also had the Evaluation Cup yesterday, we've got the Divisional Cup tomorrow, we'll get into all of that in this video. So with yesterday's mid-season update, the meta has completely changed. Previously there was barely any movement, well, obviously with crash pads being removed, the only thing we really had were launch pads. Now, basically every team in the lobby has movement in the form of the new mask item. It's called Tiger's Teleporting Mask, it's essentially the same thing as the Void Only Mask from Chapter 6 Season 1. The key thing about these items is that they're incredibly common. They can be found in chests, floor loot, even rare ammo crates. So get ready to see every duo carrying this item. Personally, I'm pretty happy that they brought masks back. We previously only saw them in a trio meta, so it's going to be interesting to see how they play out in duos. Beyond duos, masks completely changed the meta for the solo series as well, so maybe we'll see some new players placing at the top of the leaderboards in the coming weeks. Noodle pots are the other important item that got added. They give you either 50 health or 50 shield over a quick period of time, and you can use them 3 times. The noodle pot also gives the pepper effect, which is quite useful for endgame. We've only seen one tournament with these new items, more on that later, but I'm really excited to see how it plays out. So before we get into talking about the Evaluation Cup, let's quickly go over the new Storm Surge, because we saw it in action for the first time yesterday. If you don't know, there's been changes in the way that Storm Surge is calculated. Before, it was purely based on how much damage you'd done, and the teams that did the least amount of damage were affected. Now, the damage that you take gets minused off from the damage that you deal in order to create a net amount. As expected, it wasn't the most popular change of the community. It didn't seem to be working in every game. It felt like some games it was on, some games it was off. Not quite sure what was up with that. Personally, I like the new Surge changes. I mentioned this in the video yesterday, I'll say it again, I think it's good fun. I think the trepidation and the tension of being 30 above Surge and then getting tagged and then suddenly you're below and then you do damage and you're suddenly above. I think that's really fun. I think that's really exciting. And especially for viewers, maybe not so much for players, but for the viewer experience, I think this change is great. A key point of confusion with the new Surge is that the threshold and your net damage are different numbers. Let me explain. Let's say you do 500 damage in a game, but you take 300. That would mean that your net damage is positive 200. However, that might mean you're only 100 above the threshold because other teams have done more damage than you. You could even be 100 below the threshold despite having done 200 positive damage, depending on who's alive, who has died. So that's the most crucial thing to understand. The number on your screen is not your net damage, but it's just how far above or below the threshold you are. I've also seen a lot of people saying that the new Surge means you can just do 1 or 2 AR tags and then sit in a box all game. This just isn't correct. Fortnite isn't that simple. You have to make rotates and you will get tagged on those rotates. No team is going to take 0 damage. Thresholds increase throughout the game and you will have to do more damage. There's no way that doing 60 damage in the game will be anywhere near enough. Now let's discuss which teams did well in the EU Evaluation Cup. We had 4 game winners, the first one being Chap and Flixie, continuing their great form, winning the Div Cup Opens, winning the finals last week, looking like the duo to beat on EU at the moment. Specs and Gonzo won game 2, a duo that I'm not too familiar with, but well done to them. Game 3 was won by Veno and Chino. It's been up and down at the moment for them, but when they find some consistency, they'll be one of the strongest duos on the region. The Italian team of Belusi and Zanghi closed the tournament with a Game 4 win. Before we discuss tomorrow's Divisional Cup Finals, let's do some duo updates. The first being that we have Combeck and Mixon playing together. Mixon qualified to Globals with Focus and Upple, and Combeck has looked good previously with Shark, so we'll have to see how they get on. Pink might also have a new teammate. He played the Eval Cup with Velo, and they both looked very good. Velo in particular, a young and up and coming player that I've mentioned on this channel before, looking very explosive in fights. We've also got some drop spot updates for 2 of the biggest teams on the region. Vico and iDrop are now landing at Canyon Crossing, which means they might be contesting Queasy and Thomas HD in some tournaments. We'll see how that plays out. We also have Vanya and Swizzy landing at Bugswatter Beach, which is where the Hive was before, which obviously they were previously landing at. Another update to the Gentlemates contract situation. We now know that Poyo's contract has expired. We'll have to wait and see as to whether they renegotiate or not. So I'm going to hold off on giving my predictions for the Divisional Cup until tomorrow because I think the map could still change a bit. Follow me over on Twitter if you want to join in with that. I do them for every set lobby finals. What I do want to discuss right now though is how Peterbot and Acorn are going to perform. Pete seems pretty confident he's going to do well in EU finals. I'll show this clip now.
Becomes ever listen to you.
All I'm saying is, if me and Acorn are uncon Shoguns on EU, on my life, I think we can win finals. I'm not even trolling either.
He's not even trolling, by the way. He's not even trolling.
We were playing opens. On my life, these kids have no fingers, bro.
He's not even trolling, by the way.
I'm not even trolling.
Listen, it's hard to say where Peterbot and Acorn are going to realistically finish on EU. They do have an uncontested POI. Unfortunately, that POI is Shogun Solitude, which we know is terrible for set lobby finals. The fact that they're neighbours with Queasy and Thomas at Canyon Crossing could be interesting. I feel like that could cause some pretty good clips if both of them stream. For now, I'll say Peterbot will probably come in the top 20. I think top 10 is probably the ceiling, but my thoughts on that could change in the next day. Now I want to know what you guys think. What do you think of the new meta, the new surge changes? Who do you think is going to win the Divisional Cup tomorrow? Let me know what you guys think. Thank you very much for watching the video. See you in the next one.